Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado and the Western Slope, recording live from the Clear Network studio in downtown Montrose, Colorado.
I think I did it. I think it right.
We should change the intro from masquerading as a podcast to faking it until you make it as a podcast. Because
that seems too wordy.
We're a year in, you know that?
Yeah.
Literally.
Hey.
In a couple of days, it will be 1 year since we released the first episode.
Hey, Rob, happy anniversary.
Don't look at me and talk to me like that.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
I feel like your wife now, and that's really creepy. Now I know what she has to put up with.
I mean, she does. I'm a hopeless romantic, so.
Hopeless is right.
You know, my daughter the other day said to me that I was like trying to explain something to her, and she said, "Dad, stop. Whatever you're going to say next is going to be incredibly corny and hokey, and I don't want to hear it." And I was like,
and she was right.
She was correct, but still. All right. Well, listen, we've got a great guest on the couch. One that I'm so excited about because she's the first person that we've ever sat on the couch and then purposely like tried to make her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I sent her some stuff earlier.
Yeah. Hi, Kelly.
Just to let her know. That
how are you doing over there?
Good. I was like, am I muted? Or
no, thank you. But hey, the eye contact helped out because otherwise you would have been, and I would have been like, oh yeah, that's right. So
let me see if this works.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Oh, that was
not too bad.
I mean, depending.
Well, I'm having a beer.
All right.
You know that we do this shameless thing.
I don't feel like it's shameless anymore. Ooh. That's nice.
Oops.
That's nice.
All right. I'm gonna.
You're gonna share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I was promised beer.
While we share, Kelly, I'm gonna do the thing that Rob loves, which is I'm going to butcher your last name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let me try it.
Okay.
Tousley.
Nope.
Tousley.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, second try.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
For you, that's not bad.
Yeah. You make the mistake that everybody else makes.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it because you're in that like mitten world of that all the rest of us would pronounce it Tousley, but you know what? I know something else about you.
Oh boy.
We know a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I also like. Hey, look.
Where's my
I got
beer?
Yeah. Do you have your? Yeah. Maybe you should take a drink first. Maybe we'll all take a drink first.
Yes. Explain why you have a new
cup.
A new. Beer
I will, but first we should talk about the fantastic stuff that you poured in the cup.
Yes, it's Pomona's Mexican lager.
Mexican lager,
as requested.
Yeah.
By the guest. Well, I mean, I asked her what she would like.
This is your preferred.
One of my preferreds.
One of your preferred.
Yep.
So you have others at Pomona that you like as well.
Can't go wrong.
Thank you, Pomona Brewing.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. She knows the drill.
So I guess Pomona Brewing has fans that come and sit on the couch with us. We're not the only fans of Pomona Brewing.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot.
Okay, but I have a cup.
Right. And it's from. Sorry, Kelly. This is the shameless part where we.
This is great. This is where we try
very entertaining. Where we try to get money from people, basically.
Yeah, that we haven't gotten money from yet.
Yeah.
So here's your one freebie.
We're looking at you, Altspace. New Altspace owners.
Yeah.
You want to call them out?
Brand new.
You know them personally, right?
I mean, I should. No, they got to pay to be like. We'll bring them on.
Yeah.
We should bring them on. But if you haven't been to the Altspace, the co-working space, that's where you and I met. By the way.
Yeah.
The co-working space. Mm-hmm. Is that like why you shouldn't? You think it's not a good thing?
I'm just not as thrilled by it as you are, which is how it should be.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, Altspace have just been bought by new people.
New
owners.
They're
going to do good things.
And there's already some big changes.
And they can come on and tell you all about it.
Yeah.
And then they can be perhaps a sponsor of some kind.
Kelly, have you ever worked out of a co-working space?
I have not.
But you've traveled full time.
Mm-hmm. I have.
So you've worked out of a very tiny space.
I have worked out of a very tiny space, usually in the passenger seat of our truck once upon a time.
Oh, really?
Once upon a time. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Once Upon a Time.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't have any like dream music that we can.
It's not exactly it's not the origin story, but it's kind of the beginning of the story of how you ended up in Montrose, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
Yeah.
So to go all the way back, you're from Frankfort, Michigan. Mm-hmm. She is one of what I like to call the Mitten State Mafia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them here.
There are.
Yeah. So you know the deal, right? You have to.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Where you're from on the Mitt.
Yeah.
But only the Mitt, right? The Yoopers they're different, right?
Yeah.
Are they oddballs though? Is that
the Yoopers? The upper peninsula people. Why do you call them Yoopers?
UP?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is tough sometimes.
They referred to us as trolls.
Yeah.
We are below the bridge.
Oh, there you go. I like that better.
I don't know if we like...
Youpers don't really...
Do we like Youpers? I mean,
You're
I
a
am
Youper.
partial to everybody from Michigan. I am from northern Michigan.
Oh, okay.
But a Youper will tell me I am not from northern Michigan.
Okay,
Right.
got it.
she's a troll.
Yeah. So I have to show
You got to show me now. Educate
here.
everybody. I'm not the only uneducated person.
I'm from over here.
Yeah.
So Lake Michigan,
Yeah.
I'm from right here. It's
Yeah.
paradise. I keep trying to tell Rob.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going. I'm
Yeah.
going to
If
go.
it's
I'm going this
paradise.
Why am I here?
Ah.
summer. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I want to refer you back to, again, we need that music. We
Yeah.
go back into the past.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we go to, for example, a Daily Mail story or a Business Insider story.
Nobody knows what the Daily Mail is.
They really do. Actually.
No, they don't.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do.
Yeah.
Old people.
Some
love
rag in the UK.
It's an online thing, you muppet. So there was a story written about you guys doing your traveling thing when you decided to start that.
You're doing a great job of filling
there's-
air before you actually say anything.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up. There's so many photos in this story. Back in 2014, right? If the Mail is to be believed,
Yep.
which it usually isn't. Hate them. So tell us the story.
Yeah. So
Where were you before you decided to hit the road?
we were in Alaska. So we had moved from Michigan to Alaska, straight out of college. And Curtis did a couple of years.
Oh, so you just jumped right in and assumed everybody knew.
I know.
We weren't going to mention.
We
it.
weren't going to mention that
I
guy.
mean, it's a big part of why we traveled.
That's true. I told
But
him that.
he's already had his moment on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
And since
okay.
he's all blowing up and traveling
Well,
everywhere, we
no,
don't
but-
have to include him in this.
No, we do because I asked him for some stuff.
Oh,
And he gave me
okay,
some
fine.
boy.
So I
Okay.
have to mention
Whatever.
him a little bit.
This is your moment. You shine. You go,
All right,
girl.
we'll let the listeners figure out if they can figure out who Curtis is.
Okay,
We'll
there we
that
go.
route, Yeah. So Curtis was teaching for a few years. We spent some time in a village in Alaska, Tok, and then we moved down to Juneau. Loved Alaska, absolutely fell in love with it. Curtis decided in the summers he was going to travel to play music, and so he would take his summer breaks to go travel. Consequently, this is when I started collecting dogs. Because
a collection that is growing
it is growing
to this day.
That made it sound. That's a little weird. She acquired new pets
Yeah.
that were there. Collecting dogs makes it sound like
Yeah,
you're
like-
some
like
Cruella
happening,
Deville like character.
does.
Let's not go there. All right, there we go.
But yeah, so
So you've added to your family.
Yep, added to
Okay.
the family.
Yeah.
Anyway, Curtis decided he wanted to start playing music full time, and so I had just finished graduate school, working multiple jobs to pay for graduate school, and so we had this crazy idea that we would sell everything that we owned and build a tiny house, as this was like the trending move back then. And so we bought a cargo trailer off of somebody in a different Alaskan island, because to buy a trailer up in Alaska, you can buy like a dump of an RV and it was like 10 grand.
Oh wow,
And so we bought a cargo trailer thinking we were super thrifty.
super smart.
Yeah. And
We got great ideas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turned it into a little tiny home, and then sold everything we owned and left Alaska and traveled the country for a year with the idea of Curtis trying to explore whether he could play music full time.
It's another hint as to who Curtis might be.
Yep.
I think we
So-
should. I might. I don't have the time. I was gonna go back and like every time we mentioned his name, that I was gonna like play the little audio over from like Harry Potter. He who should not be named.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yes.
He can be named. He can be named.
He's gonna think I'm being mean
Yeah,
in
he
this,
is.
but I'm really just
So-
he's got his own thing.
He
So,
does. Yeah. But
yeah.
the Business Insider article was the first time that I've trended, and maybe only time in my life. And that was an exciting moment.
Well, maybe this will be the second time.
And I'll tell you something. If you go, we'll share the links. You go to that story.
Those are young faces. there.
Curtis looks particularly younger. Well, he doesn't have a big beard, the big beard that he has now. But the Daily Mail version of that, essentially that same story, has dozens of photographs. Literally, there's about 30 of them, including one of your composting toilet. Everything is documented in that story. Even Curtis's original logo.
Oh, yeah,
two
with
hands.
the two hands. Yeah.
Everything's on there. And we should mention your fur babies in the
Yep.
story, Doug and Sawyer.
Yep.
Sadly, Doug is no longer with us.
Yep. But Doug has a crazy story. If we're here for
Let's
stories.
hear Doug's story.
Okay, yeah. So Doug was my second dog I collected, and we had Sawyer for a year, and Sawyer's love him to death. He's a piece of work, and I had reached out to a company and said, I really want to get a second dog. We're ready. Our dog needs a friend, needs somebody, and so they got a hold of us and they said, we have a dog. He was abandoned on Cake, so K-A-K-E, an island in Alaska. He was abandoned. If you can take him, we'll put him on a seaplane and we'll fly him to you.
Wow.
And Curtis was teaching, and I was like, yeah. I couldn't even call him.
That was great ASMR. You heard the nervousness in her voice. Like, she really relived that really well.
Yeah. So I said yes, and then he got done teaching, and I was like, hey, we gotta go pick up a dog from the airport. And we were told he was 1, maybe 2 years old. He was a husky mix. He was everything we were looking for. And I go pick up this dog. He is oversized, so I had to pay an extra fee to the seaplane company because they flew him to me. And had somebody help me load him in the car. I took him to the dog park, and he gets out of the kennel, and he's just limping, and he can't walk very well, and his fur was a mess. And I was like, this dog's got to be 5 or 6. I don't know. And so we had a name in mind for him, for our second dog, and he came. We took him to this amazing dog park in Juneau. It wasn't a park. It was a beach.
A beach, okay.
Yeah, so it was the dog beach. And when the tide goes low, you could have 35 to 40 dogs there just running. And they're just basically like a natural fence of the grass and then the ocean. And so it was incredible to be there. So we bring him down, meet all of our friends. He's running around. I'm like, we're not going to keep him. He's older than what we think. And everybody said, but you have to name him. And so Up was popular, the movie. And he had the sweetest demeanor, and he would sit and just look at us. And so
Doug, the dog from Up.
And so that line in the movie where he's like, I hid under your porch because I love you. That was him. And so we named him Doug. And then after 4 days.
Yeah. Once you name him.
Yeah. We were like, okay, well, this dog is ours. And his name is Doug, permanently in life. And he was such an incredible dog. And as we traveled the country, he was remembered by everybody. Yeah. He would go to all of the shows and sit up on stage, and he was incredible.
Yeah. I met Doug. Mm-hmm. I was lucky enough to meet Doug. So
good boy, Doug.
Sawyer is still here, and
Kaya.
we're going to jump forward to the present for a second.
Kaya,
yes, and there's not just Kaya, right?
Yeah. So once Doug passed, right before, I got a puppy, also an impulse decision. And I had a lot of really big dreams for Joey. That I'm still trying to work through. So Joey we got at 11 weeks from the Petco here in town. He was rescued through Second Chance, and he's a little bit of a hot mess.
Yeah, he is. He's great.
Joey's great, but he's a little bit of a hot mess. And so I've learned a lot about training dogs by owning Joey. And because I had this dream of him to become a therapy dog, I realized that wasn't going to come to fruition after our 4th obedience class. And the trainer was like, Kelly, it's
not going to happen.
It's not in the cards for him. And so I ended up kind of coming to peace with that. And then the trainer I was working with at the time had a litter of dogs that were bred specifically for training or service. And so I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. I don't actually know if I should be admitting this out loud anymore because I don't know if it's legal.
Uh-oh. Well, here, I'll help you out. Hey, Rob, you decided to change shirts. You're wearing the Nugget shirts, but you had your soccer jersey on earlier.
Yeah.
When was the moment that somebody told you, hey, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be a footballer.
Good segue.
Like that was a good
People can infer what they like from the rest of what you said. I do want to take a moment though to jump back to this Daily Mail story because there are comments on the story.
Oh God.
Which is fascinating. These are all from 9 years ago.
Okay.
The first comment is Agenda 21. I don't know what that means. Good for them doing what many people dream of doing. Wish I could do something like this. Why not just buy a caravan was one comment, and somebody else replied to that. But the one that I really like, and it's really hippies one comment was you and
Well,
Curtis,
you are gypsies.
I know. I embrace that. That's a compliment.
Yeah.
just hippies. And then, hang on, there's one comment specifically about Curtis.
All right. Well, while he finds that, was that like?
No, hang on. It says, but of course he wears plaid and plays the guitar. So people who don't know you, it's funny. It's like Facebook, but this was
You've all of a sudden taken us into like keyboard warriors, like people judging
people
you on
making bizarre comments about people they've never met. So.
Yeah. What was the like? How long did it take you to realize that small size living and full time traveling wasn't going to be the option? Although he who shall not be named is still doing a lot of that.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
I was about 9 months into this journey.
Okay.
Yeah. And I realized the importance of pooping in your own toilet.
Did you write a blog post about that? Because there was a blog. I don't think it's active anymore.
Actually, I don't think it is either. I don't know if we wrote one about that. The other component is, so again,
I think you should write a coffee table book called Pooping in Your Own Toilet.
It's valid when you talk to people who travel a lot.
I know somebody could try to help you with it.
Yeah.
He's not very funny, but you guys could come up with something. Anyway, sorry.
Kelly's funny enough.
I know. I interrupted the story. I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, the trailer itself was not, we were thrifty and it was the first thing we ever built. And so it was insulated. But one time we actually got frozen inside of it. So I did write a blog post about that, about our kitchen cabinets being frozen and the door being frozen.
Were you literally you were locked in because it frozen shut?
Yeah, we were in Kentucky at a KOA. This is when we coined the phrase "not all KOAs are
KOAs
equally."
Yeah, not all KOAs are KOAs. Yeah.
So this one was in a parking lot in Louisville, Kentucky, next to an active train track. And so with all the moisture in the air, it just froze over the outside of our trailer, and we got frozen inside. So I was a little over the elements. I was over the toilet situation. I also just learned I like having a space.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't insulated, right?
It was.
Oh, it was? Because I can see, obviously, in all of these stories, including the one in Cosmo. They made it to Cosmo.
We did.
Is that a testament to... we'll leave it as a testament to you. I'm wondering... the thing is, because I read the article, I felt like it should have been more Cosmo-y. If you know what I mean.
I do, yeah. When we got the phone call that they said, hey, can you interview with us? We were like, where is this going to go?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kept it very PG. We were interviewed at a biscuit company in Blue Ridge, North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be this guy. I'm going to be this guy. Yeah. I was looking for the, 5 best sleeping positions when sharing a small space with your...
sharing a futon that you built.
It was quite... the Cosmo was quite good. It's quite a good Q&A, though, about living on... But there is one photo that is, I think, it's hilarious, and I'll share it with everyone. Oh. It's Curtis lying on his stomach watching TV. Doug's next to him. And he's shirtless, but because of the way Doug is positioned, it looks like he's nude. Completely naked. Yeah. So
we should have just let it go like he was completely naked. There's one nude shot of Cousin Curtis, and we know where you can get it
in Cosmo. Yeah. Okay, so let's skip forward a little bit to your decision to stop living that kind of life and why. Well, how you ended up in Montrose, and is there a gap between when you decided to stop?
Yeah.
Where did you want to go, and then how did you end up in Montrose?
Yeah. So on this journey of us traveling for a year, so we did a whole stretch of shows with the chain World of Beer, and so we did this whole stretch of shows, and in the middle of that we ended up down in Telluride, and so they're not there anymore, but some of kind of like the who's who of the Telluride ski resort saw Curtis play, and they said, how do we get you to come back here? Would you be interested in the music residency? And he said, I can't, I committed to this World of Beer tour, but maybe next year, let's keep in touch. And so kind of within the same time frame, 9 months into this journey, I hit my limit. And I also went to school for a long time. And so I was like, I want to actually go back to what I love to do, which is work with kids. And so I got a job in Aurora, Colorado, taught there for a couple of years, and Curtis spent time down in Telluride. So we kind of split our time in between Telluride and Aurora, skipped through all of that, realized how much we despised the city and traffic. And so I started emailing around, like, can I get a job? Does anybody have a position open, down towards some of the more remote the rural school areas? And so the Uncompahgre BOCES is kind of who scooped me up first. And so they work with Ridgeway, Ouray, Telluride, Norwood, and then the western end of Montrose. So we did that. I moved down here and I contracted with that 5 or 6 school districts. We lived in a cabin in Telluride, absolutely loved it. COVID happened.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that back up.
Just a little interruption.
Yeah.
In the norm of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So COVID happened, and we realized how difficult it was for me as a contractor, not really knowing like when schools were going to open,
right.
What was that going to lead to. And then I was really sick of tripping over microphone cables in our living room.
But you were out of a job then during COVID.
So I was able to stay contracted, which was nice, but we really weren't sure what was going to happen.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if I would get paid. Curtis, as a musician, had nothing. So his entire summer was canceled. All the shows were shut down. We were fortunate enough that he would do like some online shows, and people were very giving, kind of understanding that like that's his livelihood. COVID happened. We had been a couple of years up in this cabin. We also realized that with COVID times, we can't be on the same internet.
Oh.
Like I couldn't do a Zoom meeting and he couldn't record something at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So this kind of started our journey down to Montrose, and I started just coming to City Market, as all Telluride people do.
Yes, they do.
I want to specify though the fancy South City Market with the cheese counter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I would then like peruse neighborhoods, and I was like, all right, I think we should move. And I started driving around.
Wait, can we start a feud in Montrose, like north side, south side? Because you're south side, I'm north side.
I'm everywhere, baby.
No, you're not everywhere. We don't want to like disclose where your location is, but you were about to say you were picking neighborhoods.
Yeah, so we just started driving around, and I kept trying to tell Curtis, like, I think we should move to Montrose. And
this house is perfect. It's got a room where you can put all of your cables.
Yeah, basically.
And stuff that I don't have to trip over again.
Yep. So yeah, we looked at a house.
Which is what you have now.
Yeah, basically.
This one has a shed out
absolutely.
back that's
Yes.
perfect for you.
Well, Curtis has his own little studio.
Yeah, he does. Yep. So yeah, it was the second house we looked at, and we talked to the realtor, and Curtis said, this is it. This is what we're gonna get. And she was like, it's a dump.
Is that
The realtor said that?
That's the house you live in now.
Yeah.
Well, you've done some good work then, because it's lovely now.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a rental for 30 years, and it was a dump. We fought a lot of infestation with bugs for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Really weird carpet. Our neighbors told us that some of the previous renters had a really large tortoise that lived in the basement. And so we made the mistake of like peeling up a corner of the carpet and then unleashed stench that couldn't be tucked away again. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we've ripped all the carpet out.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful house now, but that's how we kind of landed
that's
here.
That's the beer pong basement now, right?
Yes,
it's the beer pong
basement. Has a new odor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you did great work with it because it's a very nice house now.
Yeah,
but,
thank you.
Sounds like it took a lot of work.
Well, you ended up in the right spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been here for a while now.
Yeah,
Yes.
when was that? When did you get to Montrose? When was this?
We bought our house in June of 2020.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So coming up on 5 years next month.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See?
I mean,
some people like it.
It's a testament. It's a testament to Montrose again.
It's a great place to
be here 5 years.
Yeah.
And we've only known each other, I mean, a couple of years now, really.
Mm-hmm.
But since, post-COVID stuff. Do you have any intention of, I mean, how do you feel now, 5 years in? Because I know now, Kelly's...
You're just to ask it outright. Are you leaving?
No.
You're going somewhere else?
Nope.
Okay, there we go.
Kelly's she's like a community leader, especially within our extended friend circle.
Uh-huh.
Kelly's the one who makes things happen.
You're a doer.
And so she is a doer. She's very important to our friend circle and the community. Because
you're gonna make her cry.
But if people are having drinks and someone says, we should do a Mardi Gras party, and everyone goes, yeah, good idea. Kelly's the one who goes, we're actually doing it.
No, so see what happens is when you say, hey, we should do a Mardi Gras party, people go, yeah. And if Kelly were to say, you know what, we should do a Mardi Gras party, people would be like, oh yeah, we should do it because they know Kelly's going to make it happen.
You're such a muppet.
No, I'm just
Stop
saying.
trying to sow division. It's not nice.
I mean, it could be.
It's not nice.
It's all right. But listen.
But here's the thing. We've had 3 now, right? Is it at least 3
Yeah.
Mardi Gras parties?
3 Mardi Gras.
All right. So how do we get the Mardi Gras party to merge with the crawfish boil?
I am here for this idea.
You're talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Because it's grown. The first year it was at the
It's like the smaller event center downtown.
really small
Yeah.
event center.
And this year it was at the Campers Hub, right?
and,
Yeah,
and
last year and this year.
Okay.
And it's going to continue to grow, I think. And I would love to see it grow into a community wide thing.
Same.
And I think
Dennis, if
we
you
can
know
do
any
that.
I
nonprofits,
mean, I might know. I might
knows a
know one or
couple.
two.
And I want to give it. I would like you also to give you this opportunity. Just a quick shout out to the other people who make Mardi Gras
yeah.
happen here.
Yeah, so there's a couple of people who, one, Kim is from New Orleans area, and then Lindsay lived down there for a little bit. And so they kind of helped get this going. And so we formed our own crew in Montrose called the Crew de Unk.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You're not part of it. Stop talking about it.
Around. I told you this.
And so it's Lindsay Esserman, Kim, oh gosh, I don't know how to say Kim's last name.
Navarrete?
Navarrete.
Okay.
I
Navarrete?
think.
Connor. What's Connor's last name?
Come on.
He's good. He's good looking enough. He can just go by Connor.
I'll
Yeah,
leave you-
Connor.
Yeah.
Nina.
Yeah. Nina's been on the podcast.
Yep, Nina was just on. And myself, yes, so
Stiegler.
5 of us.
Yeah.
Steigler.
So great crew. Literally. While we're on that, I want to try and make Kelly blush a little bit because one of our friends,
Well, I didn't get to finish like proposing the. Okay. All right.
one of our friends messaged
we'll come
earlier, and I mean you'll know who it is, but I just want to read out what they said. And I said,
boy.
hey, can you tell me something about Kelly? Kelly's an amazing friend. She's the reason I've stayed here for almost 5 years when I was only supposed to be here for 1. I knew we were going to be fast friends when the first time we hung out, she made me ride a bike with a flat tire to Oktoberfest. Then we found
On the rim?
out, then we found out that her grandfather had baptized our friend Lindsay when she was a baby.
Oh wow.
And
True
she's
story.
also from Michigan, so friendship was meant to be.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's weird.
When
Yeah,
you when
never
you
knew
meet
each other
out
in
of the
Michigan.
context, yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yes, Kelly makes things happen, including Mardi Gras.
Well, you know, that's really that is an attribute of a good athlete, I would say.
oh, I agree.
Oh, we're going down
What
this road.
makes
You like how I did that? Yeah, that's nice. I do it okay every once in a while.
You honestly, I think you hit it out of the park occasionally. It's by accident. Most
It's
of the time,
totally
but
random and lucky.
Go on then. Explain why you're so pleased with yourself.
You're a baller. You're a straight up baller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Do
in
you
my
still
prime
play?
anymore.
Do you,
Yes.
do you still play?
Currently on the reigning women's rec league championship. Our
What?
trophies at Pomona.
Yeah, sponsored by Pomona FC.
They should. Here's the thing. I
Have you
want
not
to.
seen the Wall of Fame
Okay,
in Pomona?
but this is where I'm getting at. Like trophies and everything feel like days gone by. You know what I mean? I feel like these days you can find the you can get like the big championship rings like made like fairly inexpensively. Like I feel like can we up the game at the rec center? Can we up the game?
We don't want T-shirts. We want rings.
We'll-
Rings
honestly,
or like the big, like the
If-
big gaudy
as
like.
long as it's not crazy, WKRP will meet you halfway.
Yes.
Making ridiculous championship
Yeah,
rings.
I know where to get
love
them.
it.
Not for every co-ed sport, because we're not made of money unless alt space come through.
Or another one.
And it's not just basketball either.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Kelly's
There's more.
multi-talented.
Yeah. Volleyball,
You're
right?
also
So are you also
are
the
you-
volleyball rec league volleyball champion?
No.
Oh, okay.
We sit pretty solidly at like 3rd or 4th every season.
You don't mess around with that silly sport that they play with their feet, do you? You don't do
No.
the soccer.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
Nope.
That's
I knew we had something in common.
That's Abby that does that. So,
Well, I'm not done yet.
oh God, hurry up! I got
I'm not
something else
done.
to say.
So I want to ask because every good doer, every good athlete, every good person that's out there that like there's inspiration that came from it, and usually some of that inspiration comes from a coach. Who's some of your favorite coaches that you had?
My basketball coach.
Yeah.
Rez.
He knows the answer to these questions, to his own questions.
Yeah. He was an incredible coach. I mean, I like any good testament to a coach. He built us up from like being good people good athletes. He still coaches in my hometown. He is a legacy coach. So he's incredible. My dad also coached me.
Is that the answer you were looking for?
I might have known that was coming.
Yep. Yeah. So those are my basketball coach, and then my dad was my track coach. My dad was quite the track athlete himself, and so from a very young age, I had it in my head that I was going to match the same amount of records that my dad had, and from like 3rd grade on, that was
your mission.
That was my mission.
That can go wrong sometimes. Did Dad being coach?
Did it go wrong?
No.
Did you did it?
Yep, I did it.
Wow.
Yep.
Go on. You've got another anecdote of some kind, I think.
No. I'll keep some of the good stuff to me then.
All right.
You guys don't get to have it because Rob, just rudely decides he's got another agenda. So go ahead.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Don't have to listen to him rambling on. I wanted to mention one more thing about the event
go ahead.
component.
Get to it.
Before we get to some other stuff. But tell us about Wine and Wigs and where that came from. So this is not something that's open to the public like Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
This is just...
So we're just going to tell you and make you feel...
It's not even open to him. Right. But is it something that existed before, or did you make it up?
I made it up.
Okay. I guessed you did.
Yep.
And
so what is this Wine and Wigs that not everybody can attend?
Let's see if Dennis can guess.
But apparently Rob can.
Let's see if Dennis can guess what.
Did they invite you only because you wear a hairpiece? Is that the reason why they invited
Take your
you?
hat off, Baldy.
I mean but it's fine. What do you like?
You can come to Wine and Wigs. We got a wig for you.
I'll wear it too.
In fact, be sure to check out the YouTube thumbnail for this picture because there's going to be there's a couple.
So
of
Wine and Wigs.
Yeah.
Is it just an excuse to get drunk?
And dress up.
Well,
I really appreciate
games.
a theme, and I like a theme with alliteration. So I work in a stressful job. I usually end my job by walking my dogs. And while I'm walking my dogs, I often think about really fun ways to let out steam. And so one day I was like, we should do a Wine and Wigs on a Wednesday. And so actually 2 years ago, 2 years ago, almost to this day, I got together with 4 or 5 other girls. And we all got wigs, and we put them on, and we met up at somebody's house. We actually met up at Nina's house and drank wine. And that particular Wine and Wigs, we created her dating profile.
Fantastic.
It was great. And then it kind of grew from there.
Is she still single?
No, it worked. It worked. Yeah, it worked. So yeah, every once a month on a Wednesday, Wine and Wigs occurs. And the cool thing about it is it's kind of grown to where other people will open up their house and they'll say, all right, I'll host Wine and Wigs. And so it's been a fun way to bring in random, not really random, but like outside people that aren't kind of in the normal circle, and just expand the friend group. So everybody wears a wig. We started the Robert's Rules of Order. Is that what it's called? Where we speak very formally.
Oh.
Yeah, so everybody's in a wig. We have a gavel, and
you have to be called to be given your time.
You have to.
So I just want to say that anyone out there who's trying to picture this, whatever you're picturing, it is that.
And better,
people
probably.
with drinks and wigs and a gavel. It sounds like a British courtroom, but they're wild wigs.
So you like to play dress up.
I love dress up.
And he who shall not be named participates in that with you.
He does, yeah. Yep.
Do you have any
he participates.
Do you have any people in your family that participate without their consent? Like,
he's got another point that he's trying to make.
Yeah.
He's probably seen.
You like to dress up your animals as well.
Oh yes, yeah.
So are you're an animal dress up person? They've got costumes.
Not normally, but for Halloween, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you dress Churchill up?
No. He would scratch the crap out of me. Dogs are much more compliant than cats.
So Nicole is a huge we have a bag full of costumes for our animals that they've never worn more than
for animals
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they tear them off. But you don't give up. You and Nicole.
I'm not. No, you're not. You're lumping me in with Nicole.
Oh.
I'm not why are we dressing up our animals? They don't want to be dressed up.
Well, the thing is,
they already have a fur coat on.
Come Halloween, you can sneak up on your dog too because Coconut's deaf. So
Nicole, which seems ultimately mean.
Oh, kind of. Yeah, you can sneak right up on Coconut and just put a costume on.
I've got a quick story for you guys. This is a total side note, but this just reminded me. One of the reasons why Rob knows so much about my animals and my pets is he's a great guy.
Just stop there.
He's happy to help you out in occasions that you need it.
Not everyone who's watching. Just relax.
Right. But here's the thing. So he offered to come over and take care of my dog and my cat while we were gone. And he did a great job. And so I don't know. You guys should go find this because this is in another episode. It's just a quick moment. But we found out that Rob actually didn't know what my cat looks like. And he took care of it for a week. So we're not 100% sure that he took care of our cat.
Well, it's an outdoor cat. I opened the door. Cat
it's an inside-outside cat. Yeah.
Cat came in.
You might have been letting the wrong cat into our house. We have no idea.
Well, and Coconut freaked out too.
Right. Well, probably because there was some cat that she didn't recognize.
No, but also you got to like prod Coconut to wake her up.
Yeah, because she's deaf.
Yeah, or stamp really loudly.
Probably scared the snot out of her.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, so I'm not a dress.
No.
I'm a dress. I like to dress up.
You do. Well, you have a costume box closet, right?
I have a closet.
Yeah.
She said,
You're
no,
the same,
I got a closet.
Yeah, you love to dress up too.
Yeah, I do. I love that. The disco is the night to do the dress up.
Yeah.
I agree. That was great.
And you guys, by the way, the crew that you brought came ready.
Silent disco.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back soon. We'll be mentioning that again soon. But
all right.
I think it's important to, because you brought this up, the idea that, Mardi Gras, Wine and Wigs, letting loose, letting off steam is very important for everybody. But if you have a job that is a little more stressful, it's even more important. So, and you alluded to it earlier about working with children, but can we talk about what you do for a living right now? Mm-hmm. And, well,
Yeah. I'll lay it all out there.
Yeah.
I wear multiple hats. So I work right now as a clinical supervisor for a company called Colorado Autism Consultants. I also contract on the side with early intervention. So I work a lot with infants and toddlers with a diagnosis of autism. And then I support still a lot of our rural school districts. So that's like a side thing I haven't really been able to let go. Just that deep passion growing up in an area in Michigan, knowing that there aren't services accessible to kids. And so that's kind of what brought me down here. So those are kind of my three hats currently. So I work as a behavior analyst with kids and families with really significant disabilities. So sometimes it's autism, sometimes it's other developmental delays, but kind of that intersection of like limited communication and really big behavior is kind of where I thrive. So really working with kids to help them learn how to communicate their needs and kind of get through the tough stuff in life.
It sounds really tough.
Yeah.
Can you, but I'm curious, can you give me an example of, what a breakthrough might look like? Because it's,
I mean, we work with kids who, and we have a saying in our field. So behavior is communication, communication is behavior. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times what we see happening is kids cannot communicate what they need to communicate. And so
it's frustrating.
They're very frustrated. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always tell people, imagine putting duct tape over your mouth and like people are like telling you what to do all day long and, asking you to do things that don't make you feel comfortable. Right. And it's going to push you to this point of explosion. And so that's what we see a lot with kids. And so we work with kids where they'll get so frustrated, like they'll hit their own head into walls repeatedly, or they'll bite repeatedly. And so breakthroughs for us is we teach that communication. And so they're able to actually use an iPad or sign or use their voice to communicate what they need rather than driving their head into a wall or trying to bite somebody or having this really big tantrum.
And I guess then it's even more important in rural communities to have access to this kind of thing because otherwise, kids often are perhaps with certain conditions and are told that they're just badly behaved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And there's this kind of misunderstanding of kids not getting diagnosed with certain things, but those services are not available in a lot of places.
And that's actually kind of what started me wanting to open this clinic here in Montrose. So I don't own the clinic. I sought out a company who would open it, and then I pitched myself to run it.
Wow. All right. I did not know that.
Yeah. And so when we were in Telluride, I was covering for an early childhood special ed teacher who was on a family leave. And at that time, we had like 5 preschoolers with very significant autism. And the school was everything. Like you're in a rural community, there's no access to other therapies. You had to drive to Montrose to get those therapies. The school was everything. And so that was kind of eye-opening to me in this way of like, when school closes down, these families have absolutely nothing. And so when we moved to Montrose, I started kind of looking around, and at the time there was one other behavior therapy company. And so Beth Cooper ran that for like over 10 years, and they sadly recently shut down. She opted to move on to some other things. But prior to that, I mean, there's nothing. Like, there's no access for kids to get services here. And so we opened in 2021, and there's now, I think, 4 behavior therapy companies in town, which is incredible because all 4 companies still have like 1 to 2 year wait lists.
I was going to say, is that in a community of our size in Montrose, is that enough? And I guess the follow-up question is, what percentage of kids would you say have some kind of developmental issue that needs to be addressed by the kind of services you offer?
I mean, percentage-wise, I really don't know. But, I mean, of our 4 companies, I would say we all have probably like 15 to 20 kids actively in services, I would hazard to guess. And there's probably 30 to 40 more on our wait lists. So,
And is that because your services here are probably the closest for those other rural towns that are close to us to get to, like you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I have kids on my wait list from Norwood or Natarita.
So in the meantime, those parents, they just have to deal with it and do the best that they can do.
Yep, do the best. And I mean, some of the school districts have amazing resources. They're able to help. The internet can be a great thing. It can also lead people down the wrong path. But yeah, it can be a great thing. And so there's a lot of resources out there for parents. But I think what's the coolest thing that we've seen happen here since opening the clinic is we've had parents who have just kind of, they had hit this point where they were like, my kid will always have a disability. They won't be toilet trained. They won't be able to communicate.
Right.
They'll always struggle. We had a family, who initially reached out and they were like, our windows are being boarded shut because our kid keeps like trying to leave the house and he can't communicate and we're really concerned.
Right.
We get these kids to the point where they're toilet trained and parents will come to us crying and they're like, I didn't think anything could actually teach them.
Is that the moment? That's the reward?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like everybody who stays in the field, it's like and it's different than teaching. It's like you get hooked. It's like you deal with crazy hard things day after day after day, but it just takes that one breakthrough and you're like,
Yeah.
This is
I can carry on.
Yeah.
You think, okay, no, this is why I do it.
Yep.
So you mentioned the school district.
Yeah. So moving on. So I've been running the clinic for 4 years with kind of like a foot in school-based services, which, like I've mentioned, I've loved. I have my teaching license as well, and I'm from a family of educators. I love it. And so I am switching this year in August to being a behavior analyst for the Montrose School District, which is the first time the school district has had this position filled. I think they've posted it for 4 years.
Wow.
So wish me luck.
That's a little crazy though.
Yeah.
To have, I mean, it's great. I'm sure other school districts don't have that position, right? But
they do now. So it's, I'd say in the last couple of years, it's really grown and become more common to have behavior analysts working in schools.
Do you know why they've had difficulty filling
There's
the
not a
position?
lot of us. So my other goal, when I was working down in Telluride and I kind of sought out this company to open is, it was me. So like I was the person, and then my supervisor, Brittany at the time, who was mentoring me, she kind of moved around a little bit, but it was us. And so we have all these people who need help. And so the thing that I loved about Colorado Autism Consultants is they really prioritize graduate training. And so we recruited graduate students to come down here, and then we trained them, grew them into therapists. And now a lot of them are still in this area, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was kind of my vision.
Expanding the opportunity by helping train other people.
If I'm it, obviously there's more than just me, but if I'm it, then, your pool is like here.
Right.
But if you can train more people, then your pool is here. And so that's kind of what my last 4 years has been, is really trying to grow those clinical services and just personally looking for a shift. I'm excited to kind of shift and focus on the school. So I'll be working with all the center-based programs.
And of course, it's Montrose County School District. So you
here in Olathe.
Here in Olathe? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you won't be doing anything beyond here for now?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Because we have 25, 30,000 people here between here and Olathe?
in the county, we have
But
somewhere
even in
close to that
Montrose, you
number.
have 20,000 people, right? So you're going to have...
I don't know about Montrose. Well, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, we do.
So, if
Okay,
you say
so it's new, though. I mean, it's going to be a new... Is it going to be challenging, you think? Or in terms of the size, or are there going to be other challenges?
Yeah, it'll be challenging. I think there's 7 schools with center-based programs, and within those schools, there might be multiple classrooms.
Right.
And there's obviously other people set up to help coach and support in these programs. Yeah. And I mean, I've met a lot of incredible teachers within the different programs, so I'm excited to get to partner with them. But it's just another way, in my perspective, to just help continue to grow and strengthen services in this area. So schools are going to be the blanket support for every single child. Right. If you're able to get into therapy, that's great, but everybody has access to school. Right. So trying to kind of help grow and support those programs is my next goal. I mean,
it might sound a little dramatic maybe, but you are, with that position not being filled for 4 years, you're going to be in a position to help a lot of families in Montrose. Yeah. You're going to, I mean, that's life-changing for them. As you've already described, there's going to be some life-changing things coming for people in Montrose, parents of those children and the kids themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I feel like that's what I love about this job is I often tell people we see the kids who are often deemed unteachable and we figure out how to teach them.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do your furry family members contribute with what you're doing?
Yes. Yeah, I think we got separated in that story. So yeah, Joey's crazy. Led me to Kaya. So Kaya is training as a therapy dog.
And she just recently got some certificates, right?
Yeah, so Kaya made it all the way through her Canine Good Citizen class. She made it through her Advanced Good Citizen.
Good girl, Kaya.
Yep, and her Urban Good Citizen. Oh. So yeah, our next step is just to go through licensing as a therapy dog. But I interviewed for this job with the school district, and my final question was, can my dog come with me? And they said yes.
Wow. Awesome. That's great.
So is Kaya already qualified?
She has to go through the final testing. Okay. So I actually just made that phone call the other day to start getting the process going.
That's super cool.
That's great.
All right. I know that we're coming to the end here. Yeah. And I know you've got a little.
We got a little.
You've got some things
it's
over there.
It's actually a little quiz for Dennis.
Okay.
But it's about you, and it came from Voldemort.
Right.
He who shall not be named. Sorry, buddy.
I'm not. I think it's great.
So we have 5 true or false questions.
Hold on a second. Now you have to dress up as him for Halloween, I think is basically what we're going with.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask Dennis 5 true or false questions.
Okay.
And then Kelly will tell us if he's right or not.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm ready.
All right.
You know why we're doing this, right? Because I do the research.
Yeah.
Captain, get everybody else to do my homework over here.
Yeah, I sent just messages to people.
Right. So we'll see if these match up.
You might know some of these from what we've talked about. But all right, question 1, true or false? Kelly is a 2-time high school basketball state champion.
True.
That's true.
She said that with confidence.
Yeah, she said it with the confidence of
No, I did. I said it.
Oh, no, but she also said it with the confidence of a 2-time high school state basketball champion.
We've already established she's a baller.
Right, true or false?
Yeah.
Kelly once, you're going to know this too, once held multiple track and field records, but they have all since been beaten. You want to hear that question again?
No, that's true.
She held them and
I got it. Beaten. She had it. Just like every other great athlete, you hold them for a while. You hold their place in time.
Yeah, all right, coach.
Yeah.
Have they all been beaten?
No.
Yes. Wrong. Mm-hmm. In your face, like
How many of them still remain?
The 4x4 relay and my 400.
Okay. So one is a team event.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Well done, Professor Obvious.
Yep.
What I was going to say about that is that's a little bit harder to beat because getting 4 people together that can do that relay. Mm-hmm. Once you've broken that record, you've now got to develop the other team. Singular records, I feel like are easier to beat than team records. Mm-hmm. I feel because those do really feel like you got to hold that for a place in time. All right, I got that one wrong.
You really took the out of this true and false thing with that.
No, I got it wrong.
True or false?
Yeah.
Kelly's first dream career was to be an injury lawyer representing rodeo clowns after she was rescued by a rodeo clown when she fell into the arena at the age of 8. Don't look at her. Is that true or false?
This has got to be one of those things that
She's from Michigan.
it has so much detail
Yeah.
that it has to be true. No?
That is the working of Voldemort, though. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I love that. You
And I'll
know
tell you
what?
something.
You should have lied to everybody.
No, I should have.
No, you should have been like,
You know
absolutely.
what?
Yeah.
He came up with these on short notice too. True or question number 4, true or false?
You know
Kelly-
what?
Hey,
Actually, I feel, hold on. This is your fault. And now I don't feel bad about he who shall not be named, because I should have known. That sounded like something that he would have come up with.
yeah, Curtis,
Okay.
you made him look stupid.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that was good.
True or false? Kelly tried to have pet rats while growing up, but her parents said no.
Yes, that's true.
I definitely had pet rats.
Yeah.
You're wrong then. She did have pet rats. The question said she tried to have pet rats, but her parents said no.
Oh,
her
okay.
parents said yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
false.
Which
But
is a
I meant
which is a
I
testament
was
to your
hearing
parents too.
I was hearing
I
that she had
several
pet rats.
I had Heidi, Two-Face, Casper.
Two-Face.
TJ.
What did you do to that rat?
So Two-Face had a black on half of his face and white.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So you
and just a side story to my rats.
Yeah, yeah.
Heidi had a tumor when she was getting in her old age, and my mom opted to have surgery on her, and so my little rat had a cone so that she wouldn't chew the tube coming out from between her legs after they removed the tumor.
A tiny little rat cone of
So
shame.
the parents that didn't want the rats.
No, they did.
Oh, they did
allowed
want the
her
rats.
No,
Okay.
they allowed her to have
Yeah.
the
Okay,
rats.
got it.
And
So I
the
did get it
other
wrong, but I
crazy
knew that she
part
had rats.
was that so TJ was Heidi's mate. Well, she lived. So once Heidi passed away, Two-Face was so sad that he died. He quit eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No.
No, that's crazy.
No.
Yeah,
You get attached. You get attached to the people in your life.
I know, but
and
I
then
feel
they're
like
not
so
around.
many people are like, "Oh, it's rats," blah, blah, blah. But like,
Oh, yeah.
that rat had such a big heart that when
Yeah.
its mate was gone,
Maybe
Yeah.
the fact that he died is because he had such a big heart. Did he have an enlarged heart?
who knows?
All right. Is there any more?
There's one more.
So far, I've done horribly.
True or false?
Yeah.
This is it. I think you're 2 right and 2 wrong. So this
Okay.
is the decider. Kelly has gotten multiple tattoos while in foreign countries.
I know you have multiple tattoos. I know that some of them probably have, have some ethnicity to them. Is that the right word?
No, but we know what you mean. Carry
yeah.
on.
I'm going to say true.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, hey,
You muddled through it. Mm-hmm. Which countries?
do I have a
Scotland?
victory song in here? Hold
No.
on. Is there one?
This guy was good.
Oh no, that works.
Yeah, you pressed the right button by accident. That's how this works.
Wait, one more time.
This guy was good.
Yeah. Okay.
3 out of 2. Yeah, which countries? You've traveled quite a lot then?
Not a lot,
Yeah.
but the first one I got was in Scotland a couple of years ago, and I went with coworkers, and they were there to get tattoos, and that was my first oh, I get a tattoo,
Oh.
and I fell in love with the idea. And so then when I was in Holbox Island, Mexico,
Yeah.
last year I got another one.
Oh.
My little guy swimming on my arm.
But you've got some other ones over here too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So all inspired from travels, I guess. Yeah. So I have a whale from living in Alaska.
Oh, I
And,
thought you were going to say Wales.
And a mandala
No.
and some flowers from the Taj Mahal when I was in India. Yeah, and then Scotland and then Mexico.
Do you have any tattoos?
No.
I have a tattoo.
Is it on your lower back? We won't tell.
No, I don't. I don't have that.
SpongeBob on his
I actually
lower
have to.
back.
I actually had to. Okay, so I've got a tattoo that my daughter gave me,
Oh, yeah.
and she gave it to me for Father's Day,
Right.
which was super cool.
Dennis's daughter actually is a
Tattoo artist.
good tattoo artist.
Nice.
Because, there are parents out there who are psychos who would just let their kids do it.
Wait, are you saying I'm a psycho for
No,
letting my
I'm
daughter,
saying she's actually
encouraging
I'm
my
saying
daughter to
she's
be a tattoo
actually
artist?
A tattoo artist.
She is actually a tattoo
So it
artist.
makes
She's doing great.
sense.
Anyway, but we had to have the conversation about locations of tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing that I asked was that because she's got quite a few tattoos now, was to not get one there.
Well, the thing is, has tattoos.
And there is where you're
And
thinking
she's-
I'm
and
saying,
she's
like
a
the
tattoo
lower.
artist.
Back. It's coming back.
I do know that it's coming back.
gonna
I
be
would
tricky
prefer,
then.
yeah. And apparently, so is mullets.
Oh, yeah.
You know, cousin
They're not
Curtis.
coming back for you, my
we're-
friend.
We're gonna go. I could grow a mullet.
You could grow a mullet on your face, maybe. We'll get you
I
a
could grow a mullet. I got hair back here.
We'll get him a mullet wig.
Love it.
I'll wear a mullet.
My
wig.
friend back
Tomorrow's
home.
next event is tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is?
The Wine and Wigs.
Wine and Wigs.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah.
Location undisclosed because the general public are not invited.
Oh, does that mean I got invited?
What are you doing?
The party is about to start.
Yeah, I don't want to concern you. My friend back home has a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
Adam, you ginger. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
And he looks like he should be in the circus.
What do you mean he looks like he should
He
be in
has
the
a lot of
circus?
tattoos and he should be in a circus. So people who have a lot of tattoos, Jordan's going to have lots of tattoos.
Do you have a tattoo?
No.
Then you don't get to have an opinion.
I do.
I feel like that's we're good with that.
Can end up in the circus.
All right. Normally we end the show with either like a challenge, something you like.
Challenge somebody else to come on. I like out of our friend circle because a lot of people are afraid. I think, and we've had Nina on, Hollis has been on, but yeah, who else?
Abby?
Abby, it was scheduled to come on. I had to cancel. Sorry, Abby.
I know how that feels, Abby. He'll come around. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I canceled on her too.
Yeah. By the way, anybody that's ever been canceled coming on the show, it's not because of this seat. It's because of that seat.
Definitely because of him.
Over there.
I'm surprised I haven't been cancelled in the more traditional sense,
Well,
honestly, by now.
I've been trying.
Abby's going to come on.
Okay.
Who else? Who else would be good?
Connor with his new business.
Yeah, it's true. We could talk about mushrooms and his blog. Yep. Keep going. They should all come on.
I know.
I'd like to have
I'm trying
Dan-
to think of people you haven't had.
I'd like to have
on.
Dan Ruffner come on
Dan would be fantastic.
because I'd like to see him sit still.
Do
for
we
like
need to-
45
do we-
As
minutes.
long as there is like a bet or a wager somewhere, and
Yeah.
how many times he changes glasses or
Yeah,
outfits.
yeah, and we can talk about the
During-
fact that
During
I
the
ha-
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have seen Dan wearing his Speedo because every time there is a Mardi Gras or a Wine and Wigs, he tends to take some of his clothes off.
Dan won like best dressed at the disco. I don't remember
Silent
that.
disco,
I am not
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
Yep.
Well, did I show you the photos of our
So
recent
should we
camping trip?
have like a oh no, I was just gonna date myself, like the Rat Pack, like you guys are kind of like the Montrose Rat Pack,
God, you're old.
like what was after the Brat Pack? That's what they were called.
Even that's too old for most of the people in my
Okay, but I'm
friends
just
circle.
saying, like, are you like that? Should we? What I'm saying is, all these people that we need to have come on, they're all part of the same social. Should we just have them like all at the same time?
Oh, God,
Should we just pack the studio?
No, that'd be too much.
Why would it be too much? I think it would be amazing.
No,
that would be pretty entertaining.
It would be entertaining, but too much.
See, he thinks he has control over these things, but
All
he
right,
doesn't.
Wrap
All
it
right.
up.
Okay.
I just want to finish by
Yes.
saying you're an incredible person. You're a really important component of Montrose, but also of our friend circle, and everybody loves you for the things you do for us as friends, like Wine and Wigs, and for the greater community like Mardi Gras.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being a straight baller here in Montrose, making shit happen
Anytime.
every day.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I just cussed. Anyway, well, anyway, I do mean that. It's awesome to have people that make things happen
Yep.
here, and I think that's what makes a community really fun to be in and be a part of. And it takes a village to take care of all the great kids
Yep.
that we have here as well. So
Yeah, it's a great
those
place.
are all awesome things. And now we get to go off air and discuss like crawfish boils
Yes.
and
Yep.
wig parties and everything else. And you guys don't get to see that. So tough. Too bad for you. All right. Well, thanks for being with us for another episode of WKRP Montrose. That is the Jerseyite over there. I'm Dennis. We're so grateful that you're stayed and watched this far long. Make sure you subscribe.
They
They
haven't stayed this far.
I should have said this earlier. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. I'm going to start making you say that because I feel like it would be more painful for you to say
I'm
it.
not doing it.
Okay. Well, you're going to. We're going to figure it out.
Also, thanks, Voldemort.
Thanks, Voldemort. Definitely. All right. You'll have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.